We were living in the first house we had ever purchased, so we decided we would renovate our own home because we could see potential for it to be an open enough space for him. But we wanted to move to a quieter area and get out of the city, and we wanted something that had more room for him for his entire life. The future factored into it greatly because we don't want to move again, and we didn't want to build from scratch. We just decided that it was just too much for us. So we wanted to find a house that was suitable for his needs now, suitable for our young family's needs now, but as far as I can foresee, I think it will be good for his whole lifetime as well. We wanted something that when he was an adult, because he will be living with us for his entire life, likely, that he would have more opportunities to move from area to area. So when we saw this house, it had 2 family rooms on one level so that he can watch his things or do his activities in one room, and the other 2 children can still be right close to me in another room doing their activities if they're not doing something together. So that was a big draw for us. So, or we could entertain in one room, and if he didn't want to do what we were doing, he still is close to us and can watch the shows that he wants to watch or listen to the music he wants to listen to. So that was a big draw, and the fact that it was a large open area with a large bedroom on this floor. We made a Muskoka room into a bedroom for him so he can have therapy equipment. You know, all the equipment that your child needs takes up a lot of room. And in the other house, it was in my living room all the time. So, you know, the Hoyer lift had to be moved from the bathroom to the bedroom to the living room. It didn't have a place that it could just sit. And a therapy table and a commode and a wheelchair and whatever other equipment you have. You just don't always have room for it. So this way, a lot of that stuff can stay right in the corner of his room and not be right where I'm entertaining people all the time. This house has an apartment in the basement, which we're not using as an apartment right now, but there is an area that can be a kitchen, and there's a bedroom as well. So for the future, when my husband and I are older and not able to completely care for him ourselves, we can have somebody live there and be able to help us out. So we don't have to bring somebody in all the time. There could be somebody here 24 hours a day should we need it. Right now, we're not using that because we're still able to do everything ourselves. But at some point in time, you know, when we're 60, maybe we're not going to want to be doing everything ourselves, but we still want him with us. So we'll be able to do that. His room also has an entrance from the outside, so that you know, if you wanted someone just coming in and out and not coming to the rest of the house, that could be arranged as well. His room also has 2 different exits to the outside of the house as well as an exit in here, which we considered as a safety feature. You don't think about it when your child is small, but if you have an older child and there's a fire or an emergency in the home, you have to be able to get them out quickly. And so we have alternate exits for him coming right from his room that we can easily get him out in case there was an emergency. So that was something that we didn't have in our other house, really. For this particular renovation that we're doing in our new house, our lifelong house, instead of planning things ourselves, we consulted with a firm that deals specifically with wheelchair accessible renovations or universal design. And we had them give us different options of what we could do with the space that we had. It's a much more expensive way to go, but we wanted to make all the right decisions right from the beginning because, as I said, we are going to be here forever. That's our plan. So we had an architect with that firm draw up plans, and then we hired a company to go through with the plans. So it was done in different stages compared to our initial renovation where we kind of did it ourselves. We didn't have an architect, and we just hired a company to come in and do the plans from our ideas. One thing that this renovation is going to ease for us is my ability to do things myself without my husband helping, which is a relief for both of us, because that allows us to have some time out of the house alone, in that if I need him here to help me get my son into bed, then he can never go out for dinner with friends or to a meeting because he has to be here, or I have to have somebody here. So once we have the track system in place and I can easily get him, I can do a shower by myself. Right at this point, even with our bathtub in the other house, it would have been very difficult for me to just get him bathed and in his pajamas into bed at the weight he is now without someone there to assist me. And I am hoping and I'm thinking that with this new change that we're making, I will be able to do all that myself. Not saying that it'll be 100% easy. It will still have some, some challenges, but once a week or twice a week, I'm sure I can manage it so that, and my husband can manage it as well without me. Up until now, I haven't had a great deal of a good comfort level to leave him with somebody when we both go somewhere, but you know that that's not good for a family either. So we're working towards that in the future. We've taken suggestions from therapists who have worked with children who are using PSWs and what they find easier, because something that a parent is willing to do for their child may not be the same thing that a PSW is willing to do for your child. So anything that you can do to make things easier for them is going to help down the road too. So we've tried to look at things like that. Some suggestions were moving the faucets all forward in the shower so that you don't have to get into the shower at all when showering your child. Making sure that the change table or the stretcher is adjustable height-wise so that people of different heights can easily work with your child on there without causing back strain. It would help to envision your child as an adult or as a teenager, and to think about them being, 5 times as heavy as what they are now, and things that only take you a few minutes now are going to take a lot longer, and to see how you can change the way you do things to make it easier. And an example of that being that shower trolley. I'm thinking, okay, well, right now it's not too bad to lift him onto a change table, but when he gains another 30 pounds, every move that I have to make with him is going to be that much more difficult. So I've purchased a trolley that I can use for different things, for transporting him through the house if I need to his room, and can be used right in the shower instead of moving him into a shower chair. Any information that we've got about that type of thing has either come through the occupational therapist or just searching on the internet. And I was looking for a mobile change table when I just came across that shower trolley, because I didn't even know they made such a thing. And so then I started researching it, asking questions of therapists and of the actual staff at the companies, and found one that I think is suitable. So I'm always collecting information, and I still do a lot of research on the internet and try to get different ideas, things that you might not always think about in your own situation, but once you start seeing pictures and reading different articles, then it helps to give you some ideas. You have to think about your child as an individual, and his needs will be different from your friend's child's needs or from another child who's having something done. So just look at your child, see their needs now, and look at their needs for the future as well. And each person is different, each family is different. For example, we put in a telecab here, and it would not be appropriate for everybody. It's not very big, so if you have a child that is in a, like we could never bring a stretcher up on that, and we couldn't, a child that was in a recumbent stroller or a recumbent wheelchair could not fit on that, or somebody that could not go by themselves if need be, because it is quite small and we got the largest one there was. And it is working for us. But in retrospect, would I put it in? I probably would go with something that was bigger in case in the future we had to bring him up on a stretcher, or in something, if his legs had to be out. So research it all and talk to people who have it and go and see it at somebody's house if you can. That would be my number one suggestion. See the things you need in action before you buy them. My husband's an engineer and I'm an x-ray tech, so I have some experience with the mobility issues, although it is different when it's your own child, and when he was younger we weren't always thinking about that. But when we're looking at a house for our lifetime, I suppose that did help us somewhat. It is overwhelming, and I don't think there's any way to not make it overwhelming, but you just have to look at the big picture and try and see your needs now, your needs in the future, and how long the things that you are changing are going to last as well. Some things that you might need to change when they're older, you can change when they're older, and some things you have to do right from the very beginning.